What if the American dream didn't die, but just packed its bags and moved south? In 2025, trying to buy a decent home in the United States feels like you replaying a game of Monopoly where the best properties are already gone, and all that's left is overpriced rent and never-ending bills. While wages stay flat, rent climbs higher every year. Mortgages stretch for 30 years and feel more like a life sentence than a path to freedom. And now, 70% of millennials say they may never own a home in their lifetime. It's no longer a dream, it's a struggle. But just a few hours south of the US border, a different reality exists. A place where the weather is warm, the lifestyle is slower, and owning a beautiful home isn't just possible, it's affordable. What if the American dream simply changed its address to Mexico? In Mexico, homeownership doesn't require a six-figure income or decades of debt. In fact, in many cities across Mexico, you can buy a charming, fully furnished home for less than the price of a used car in the US. And we're not talking about remote villages. We're talking about vibrant towns with culture, safety, infrastructure, and community. Take San Miguel de Allende, for example, a UNESCO World Heritage City located in the highlands of Mexico. With cobblestone streets, colorful colonial architecture, thriving art galleries, and award-winning restaurants, this city has been voted the best small city in the world multiple times. And here, for under $100,000, you can own a rooftop view apartment that would cost 3 times more in California. Or consider Mérida, the capital of Yucatan, and often ranked as one of the safest cities in all of Mexico. With its grand colonial homes, palm-lined avenues, and low crime rates, Mérida has become a magnet for digital nomads and remote workers who were tired of the stress and costs of cities like New York or Los Angeles. In Mérida, you can buy a 2-bedroom home with hand-painted tiles, private courtyards, and even a plunge pool for under $100K. Now picture yourself near the Pacific coast, in places like Puerto Vallarta and the Nayarit region. Here you'll find brand new condo developments with swimming pools, gyms, rooftop terraces, and ocean views, all for a fraction of what you'd pay for similar properties in the US. And surrounding beach towns like Bucerias, Lo de Marcos, and Sayulita are full of potential for both lifestyle upgrades and real estate investments. So take a moment and ask yourself, are you grinding 40, 50, even 60 hours a week just to afford a small apartment with little quality of life? Or could you be living in a home you actually own, near the beach, surrounded by sunshine and peace of mind? This isn't a fantasy or some trick to beat the system. It is simply the reality of a country that hasn't been swallowed by housing bubbles and runaway inflation. Mexico offers more than affordability. It offers a better quality of life. Forget the stereotypes and headlines. This isn't about escaping to a cheap place. It's about intentionally choosing a better, freer life. In Mexico, your dollar goes further. Not just on property, but on food, healthcare, and daily living. You're not just buying a house. You're buying time, peace, and freedom. Wake up to sunshine nearly every day. Walk to a cozy cafe and get a fresh-made flat white for $2, not $7. Shop at vibrant local markets where avocados, mangoes, and fresh eggs cost a fraction of US prices. Enjoy real food, fresh, local, and often organic, without the high costs and preservatives of processed grocery store chains. And when it comes to healthcare, Mexico offers impressive value. In many areas, you'll find private hospitals, English-speaking doctors, and professional care that costs less than a single US copay. Medical tourism is growing for a reason. People are realizing that quality healthcare doesn't have to cost a fortune. You'll likely walk more, breathe fresher air, and spend more time outdoors. And without the constant financial pressure, you start to feel something you might have forgotten: human. Because in Mexico, what you're really buying isn't just property, it's freedom. Freedom from 30-year mortgages, from rising rent, from the constant hustle to just survive. And yes, before you ask, it is legal to buy property in Mexico, even if you're not a citizen. In most of Mexico, foreigners can own property in their name, just like in the US or Canada. For properties near the coast or border, there is a secure system called a fideicomiso, a bank trust that holds the title while giving you full control. You can sell, rent, remodel, and even pass it on to your children. It's not a loophole. It's a well-established legal structure used by thousands of foreign property owners. To buy, you'll need a certified Mexican notary, a trustworthy real estate agent experienced with foreign buyers, and some patience. The process takes time, but it's straightforward. And most people say it's far less stressful than buying in the US. And let's talk about what you really get. In the US, $100,000 might get you a fixer-upper in a declining neighborhood, or just a piece of land. In Mexico, it can buy you a move-in ready home close to the beach, with plenty of room to live and grow. Infrastructure in Mexico is improving quickly. New highways, like the one connecting Puerto Vallarta to Guadalajara, are cutting travel time dramatically. This brings you closer to world-class hospitals, international airports, and even corporate hubs with companies like HP, Oracle, and IBM, all while enjoying a laid-back coastal lifestyle. And what about safety? The media loves to paint Mexico with a broad negative brush. But statistics show that many Mexican cities, like Mérida, La Paz, and even towns along the Pacific coast, are safer than U.S. cities like Chicago, Los Angeles, or New Orleans. Talk to expats living in Mexico and you'll hear a common theme. They feel safer, calmer, and more connected than they ever did back home. People assume moving to Mexico is a downgrade, but for many, it's the best decision they've ever made. Because they didn't just trade countries, they traded stress for peace, debt for freedom, and constant noise for meaningful connection. They found something most of us are still chasing: a lifestyle that feels whole again, slower, healthier, and more human. And here's the truth most people miss. You don't need to be rich, retired, or holding a six-figure job. All you need is the willingness to look in a different direction and consider a better way to live. So maybe the American dream didn't disappear. Maybe it just moved to a place with more sunshine, lower costs, and a lot more soul. In Mexico, you can own your home instead of renting it. You can live without crushing debt. You can eat fresh, rest deeply, and finally feel free again. If this made you think, just for a moment, then maybe it is time to reconsider where your dream life really begins. Like this video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe if you want to explore smarter ways to live. And if you've already made the move to Mexico, tell us where you landed. Your story might inspire someone else to finally make the leap. Because the American dream isn't dead, it just got a new zip code.